For the community problems, I'm gonna do two, and then I'm gonna let you answer the next two in a Google form. And then depending on how you guys do, I will do a review lesson of those two exercises on Wednesday. I will publish the video on Wednesday. So it says a publishing company is interested in the number of books read each year by people. They sent out 50 volunteers to conduct research by collecting random samples of 20 people each and determining the number of books that group read in the previous year. After looking at the sample means, the company estimates that the mean number of books read is 12.4. So from there, you should start circling things that are important with a margin of error. Again, pause right here and tell me what is the meaning of margin of error in this problem situation. What's another name for margin of error? It's another name. That's right. Think of it as the standard deviation. Okay, think of it as the standard deviation. So you have the mean and you have the margin of error. So based on these values, what interval is likely to contain the true meaning number of books read in the previous year by the population? So if the margin of error behaves like the standard deviation and you have the mean, then we're looking at one standard deviation within the mean. So what does that mean? If I were to create a normal distribution, what number should go in the middle? The mean, okay? And you're not given the standard deviation, but you're given, well, yeah, you're given the margin of error, and that would serve as a standard deviation, okay? And yeah, the margin of error is 2.4, and that's twice the mean, the standard deviation. But to make sure, we're gonna use right now the number they're given to you, okay? So, what is it? 12.4 plus 2.4, that will be what? 14.8. And the other one will be 10. So there you go. That's it. Next one. Based on surveys of random samples from people in a town, the proportion of people interested in a new chain restaurant opening in their town is 0.42 with a standard deviation of 0.07. So, and it says which of these intervals is the smallest that likely contains 95% of the sample proportions. Again, if they give you the standard deviation, if they give you the proportion, if they give you any of that, okay, you need to make sure that you translate it to what you already know of the mean and the standard deviation. So in the previous exercise, they gave you the mean and the margin of error. In this one, they gave you the standard deviation, but they gave you, instead of telling you directly the mean is, they tell you the proportion is. So this is the mean, okay? Like you're gonna treat this as the mean. And they tell you that that's 0.42. So, since you need to have your measurement of the central measurement, right, of the normal distribution, you cannot make it up. Like they will give it to you, either or. So 0.42 is your mean, in this case the proportion of people interested, and then the standard deviation is 0.07. So the same way you would treat it in a normal distribution, that's the way you're going to treat it here. They're saying that you want it within 95%. So if we say 95%, then that will mean how many standard deviations within the mean. By now you should know that, okay? You should know that that is 2. So this is 0.49. And then because you're adding just 0.7, right, to that, that will be 0.56. I don't have enough space, so I won't do the other one, but you can. All right. And then here you have 0.42 minus 0.40 minus 0.7, 0.07, sorry. So that will be 0.35. Again, minus 0.07, that will be 0.28. Okay, so I will create my standard deviation, my normal distribution here. And then I know that this is my 95%, so I just need to match my A, B, C, or D. If you chose C, that's wrong, because that's within one standard deviation. That's just 68%. Okay, 21 and 63, that's not even there. Well, it's the next one, right? It would be the next one, but that's within 3 standard deviations. So A doesn't make sense, C doesn't make sense, D doesn't make sense either. I mean, it's just 41 to 43. That doesn't make any sense. Therefore, the option that you need to choose, the correct answer, is B, right? It will be 0.28 to 0.56. And that's it. All right, I will let you read the other 2. Like I said, there's not magic wand for these ones because all of them are different, okay? So I cannot just tell you these are the steps other than just read the problem, circle the important information, slow down trying to figure out what they're asking you, okay? State what you already know, and then make connections from what you have and the stuff that you're trying to find. So for this one, I will just tell you, read it, okay? The first question, it says, what does the proportion 0.85 mean for the first sample? They tell you here a proportion. So they took 0.85 out of somewhere, okay? And keep in mind that here we're talking about 20 people, okay? So think about that. They're asking you for the margin of error. Hopefully by now you figure out how to find it. It's very simple, okay? It's very simple to find the margin of error. If you were paying attention in the previous slides, automatically you would know, like in your head, 2 seconds, you will know automatically what's the margin of error. Question number 4. They tell you the proportion, they tell you the margin of error, and then they're simply asking you to tell them if the numbers given make sense for the normal distribution, okay? So it shouldn't be that bad. It's not that bad. I understand if you're still struggling, but I will let you figure this out on your own. And then tomorrow, depending on how you do, well, tomorrow Wednesday, if you're watching this on Tuesday, I'll go over it, okay? But I need you to try first.